Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for boosting the sanitation economy in Latin America. We're launching an exciting new piece of work today, and we're really excited to be here with you all and tell you a bit more about it and hear from some of the visionary individuals that have made it happen. So without further ado, we'll kick it off. We're going to start with a brief presentation on what is the piece of work that we're embarking on between the Toilet Board Coalition, Water for People, and IDB Lab. And actually, first, hi everyone. I'm Alex Knezovich, Managing Director of Engagement at the Toilet Board Coalition, and I'll be our sort of MC of sorts for the day. Really happy to be here with you. And so now, without further ado, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Maria Cueva and Mafer Delfino, our wonderful colleagues that are joining us for this work, who will take us through a brief presentation on what the Toilet Board Coalition and our partners are doing in the region and how you can get involved. So Mafer, over to you.
Hi everyone. According to the World Bank, a quarter of Latin America and the Caribbean lack access to safely managed water and sanitation. So, urgent acceleration is required to reach sanitation for all by 2030. Accelerating business solutions through sanitation crisis improves livelihoods and unlocks economic opportunity. Hi, I'm Maria Delfino, the Engagement Associate of the project Boosting the Sanitation Economy in Latin America. Today, I'm going to briefly introduce this project. Through a strategic partnership with IDB Lab, the innovative laboratory of the Inter-American Development Bank and Water for People, the Toilet Board Coalition is expanding its presence in LATAM and offering our world-renowned accelerator for the first time in Spanish. This project is set to work with 15 sanitation economy businesses in Guatemala, Peru, and Honduras between 2023 and 2025. Okay, what's the Toilet Board Coalition Accelerator? The Toilet Board Coalition accelerates businesses' solutions to the sanitation crisis through our world-renowned accelerator, matching entrepreneurs with global business leaders and investors to drive progress on Sustainable Development Goal 6.2, Sanitation for All by 2030. Our accelerator is in its eighth year, accelerating sanitation economy businesses through intelligence, investment, and demand. Intelligence by delivering mentoring and expert business advice to enable entrepreneurial success. Investment by engaging with investors to develop innovative investment. And demand by unlocking systematic demand for a rapid adoption of new products and services. Over the last 7 years, we have built into a proven impressive program. To date, the coalition has activated 8,000. What happened? Today, the coalition has activated more than 8,000 hours of bespoke skill-based mentorship. We have graduated more than 50 SMEs from 20 countries, and today we are impacting more than 2 million lives daily through our portfolio. Our geographic presence is growing. We have been working to grow sanitation economy businesses primarily in South Asia and Africa, and now is the time for Latin America to accelerate.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maria Cueva, and I am the Accelerator and Pipeline Manager here in Latin America. Spanish-speaking SMEs and entrepreneurs in Latin America can now apply to the special 2023 LATAM cohort made possible with strategic support from IDB Lab and Water for People. This is the first year that the Toilet Board Coalition Accelerator is launching a cohort for SMEs and entrepreneurs operating specifically in Peru, Guatemala, and Honduras. The program will be offered in Spanish around from May 2023 through March 2024. The 2023 LATAM Accelerator will facilitate the growth of sanitation economy businesses through business model design, corporate mentorship, and investment opportunities. Who can apply? SMEs and entrepreneurs operating in Peru, Guatemala, and Honduras. A scalable business model that is commercially viable and delivering sanitation in new customer-centric ways. A sanitation economy product offering that is innovative, aspirational, replicable, and proven. Why join the LATAM Accelerator? Well, the businesses that are going to be selected will receive customized expert support, match with global business leaders and investors to accelerate your sustainable business and prepare for investment, and become part of the largest global community of sanitation entrepreneurs. So the applications to our special 2023 LATAM cohort are open, and you can apply until 22nd March at www.toiletboard.org/acelerador. All the applications will be reviewed by the Toilet Board Coalition team. The shortlist of entrepreneurs and SMEs will be presented at our inaugural LATAM Roundtable to regional members and partners. After that, the shortlisted candidates will be interviewed by a special committee to select those SMEs and entrepreneurs who will join the program for 2023. Please, if you have any question about the 2023 LATAM Accelerator, do not hesitate to contact me at accelerate@toiletboard.org. I also invite all of you to join us on our Facebook Live today at 7:30 p.m. EDT hours from Water for People Facebook accounts to ask any question.
Thank you, Maria and Mather. We appreciate that quick presentation on what is the program. And as Maria mentioned, there are further opportunities over the coming weeks to engage on Facebook and Instagram and some live sessions if you have any questions for them. Also, you can always reach out to us. We'll put the email addresses in the chat if you have any questions. And please do feel free to comment in the chat if you have any questions for our panelists or any of the team throughout the event, and we will either answer them in the chat or take them live. So now we will move to a sort of rapid fire panel discussion with three esteemed individuals that I have the pleasure to introduce you to. So first is Jenny Lewis. She is Vice President of the Foundation at Kimberly-Clark Corporation, and she is also Chair of the Toilet Board Coalition Steering Committee. Jenny is a strategic social impact executive and global foundation leader with 29 years of international experience. She has a proven record of creating global, national, and local partnerships that deliver sustainable impact across nonprofits, government agencies, businesses, and brands. We also have with us today Estrella Tenado Vara. She is Senior Investment Officer at IDB Lab. Estrella focuses on innovative projects, mobilizing knowledge, connections, and financing to promote disruptive solutions across Latin America and the Caribbean. She is a leading voice on the role of the private sector in development and corporate social and environmental sustainability and inclusive business in Latin America and Europe. And lastly, we have Danielle Oporto with us, Regional Director for Latin America at Water for People. Danielle is an international development expert with 20 years of experience designing, implementing, monitoring, and evaluating projects in areas related to pro-poor and private sector development with a specialization in market-based mechanisms in water and sanitation, sustainable and climate-smart agriculture, and public-private partnerships. So we have prepared a few questions for you each to kick off the discussion, and are aiming to have a nice chunk of time towards the end of the call to answer questions that you may have for one another, and then of course also that the audience has for you. So Estrella, if we can first kick it off with you. The IDB Lab is something quite special and specifically source of innovation that this award falls within is even more special, let's say. Could you start us off with a few words about the lab and the particular fund that this project sits within?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Perfectly, yes.
Okay. Yes, I work at the IDB Lab, and the IDB Lab is the laboratory of innovation of the IDB Group, the Inter-American Development Bank Group. And we work in Latin America and the Caribbean um, together with our colleagues from the public sector, but we mainly work with the private sector and civil society and not the public sector directly. So that's make us a little bit more unique within the IDB group. We test new things or new approaches to development. And what we try to do is to promote early stage entrepreneurial innovation and focusing on two main things. One, benefiting, of course, the poor and vulnerable populations, and also activating new engines of sustainable growth. And we do this through financing resources that we all know are necessary, but also through connections and knowledge, because we've been as a fund, as a laboratory, we've been around for 30 years. So we have a vast body of knowledge from previous works, previous projects, and an extensive network of partners. So we mainly focus on several areas: agri business, natural capital, also education and talent, health, financial inclusion, and obviously essential infrastructure services, which is within this project falls in. Related to source of innovation, which is kind of the group of projects that we are working with you and Water for People. Um, it's a project, a fund, a pool of resources um, from different partners: the government of Korea, Israel, Switzerland, FEMSA Foundation, the IDB, the public sector, and also the IDB Lab. And we're trying to promote the development and adoption of innovative solutions to achieve universal and safely managed water and sanitation, and also waste management. Um, and our focus is on the service providers and also trying to strengthen the ecosystem of startups related to the sanitation sector. So with this initiative and this project, we're working with you, Toilet Bowl Coalition and Water for People. Um, we would love to bring the innovation and all the arrangements that Toilet Bowl Coalition has been doing in other regions of the world in the sanitation arena and strengthen this ecosystem in Latin America and the Caribbean. And our local partners are Water for People, because we know we've been working with them in the past, that they know the topic, they know the region, they know what we do locally. So we're very happy to kick off this project and start working with you and with all the startups out there willing to go through this acceleration process and working with all of us.
Great, thank you so much, Estrella. So Jenny, I'm going to come to you next, because similarly, the Toilet Board Coalition is a rather unique entity, and you are one of the original visionaries and current chair of our steering committee. Can you say a few words about the Toilet Board Coalition, what we were founded to do, and why that's so unique? And of course, bringing in your own perspective as a business leader from Kimberly-Clark.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alex. So I very vividly, gosh, we're going on probably 8 years ago, where we got from one of our colleagues at Unilever to have two companies being very engaged in sanitation, and it was our priority and our large companies to put more muscle and energy behind the sanitation crisis. And absolutely said, where do we start? What can we do? And so getting at the very beginning was such a unique opportunity with so much potential and so much for the future and what we needed to do as companies to help to solve sanitation. So the part that I think that was most interesting to us and for me as an individual to really was just the business power that sits behind the coalition and really what it's unique, bringing together so many different minds on business, is where they sit, what cultures they serve, what their role is in sanitation and water. And Bull is one of the most powerful engines I've ever been a part of. The vision, the engagement, the unique approaches to, engaging to engaging the circular economy, to, figuring out different ways to realization. So from a from a Kimberly-Clark perspective, it's a wonderful journey for us to be involved in a business coalition like this. We have R&D energy behind it, innovation energy, our sustainability teams are all to the table to say, how can we really bring our business expertise as a global, speed up the private sector and what we do to solve sanitation. And so it's used to me as something that you're not going to find. And it's really be a catalyst for change for sanitation in the years to come.
Thank you, Jenny. And Daniel, I'll come to you next because we wouldn't be here on this call today without you and without Water for People. So Water for People are pioneers in a market-based and customer-centric approaches to sanitation in Latin America. And the partnership that we've built between the Toilet Board Coalition and Water for People to deliver this work is unique and quite a feat as we've lived it over the last 18 months. Can you please share a bit with us a few more words about kind of Water for People's role in this work and what really excites you about it?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Alex, for the introduction, and thanks, Estrella and Jenny, for your insightful and motivational remarks on this topic. My name is Danilo Porte, and I'm the regional director in Latin America for Water for People. Water for People works in across the globe in Africa, Latin America, and India. In Latin America, we work in 4-country programs in Central and South America. And many years ago, we have learned that the key word to address the challenges in the sanitation sector, especially in the rural ones, peri-urban context, the name of the game is scalability. How do we scale up the access to sanitation, considering that most of the geographical areas in Latin America, most of the times, the sewer is not the solution. It's not even the technical, not even economical, not even a feasible solution in most of the rural and peri-urban areas. So on-site, decentralized sanitation comes to our site, and we decided to promote market-based mechanisms because of the needs of scalability. How can I make it possible to nurture and create an ecosystem where both government, local districts, authorities, and communities, and social entrepreneurs, SMEs, can create solutions for sanitation access and long-term solutions. And sometimes I would prefer to talk more about bathrooms than toilets, because most of the time it's not only about toilets. It's about creating a complete set of solutions that give the sense of an aspirational solution for families that includes not only a toilet, a shower, a water tank, a sink. And I've been able to witness how in Africa, and Latin America, and Asia, we have families getting a mobile phone in their hands, but at the same time, they're still defecating in the field. How is that possible? I want you to imagine a rural family practicing open defecation, but at the same time, chatting on their mobile phones. How is that possible in this century? That's why Water for People created different initiatives internally, like a innovation facility at Water for People. We are working with different entrepreneurs in a value chain perspective because we want to change that stigma and how we create aspirational solutions that families, households are demanding, even if they are low income families. So that's the work, and and today we are very happy to join efforts with IDB Lab, with the Toilet Board Coalition, and the support of different mentors and companies like Kimberly-Clark, joining knowledge, resources, time, dedication, dreams to change the landscape, the image that I just shared with you. And I want to change that. And scalability is the name of the game. That's why we need more markets in the sanitation sector, in the sanitation economy. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Yeah. So what are we scaling? What are we bringing, to the region? I think we heard earlier from Maria and Mafa a bit about the program and a bit about the accelerator. But I think what really powers the accelerator is the corporate engagement in it. And this is what makes the Toilet Board Coalition's accelerator so unique and so successful, is the business expertise that is built into the program alongside anything kind of the Toilet Board Coalition team brings to it. So Jenny, you have been a mentor many times over in terms of your engagement. And I think most of our audience is probably here to really understand and what attracts SMEs to the accelerator program is that opportunity to engage with large multinationals like yourselves and to learn from you. You are experts at growing business. So I know personally how excited you are about this program, but maybe you can share with our audience today a bit more about why Kimberly-Clark is excited to bring this program to the region, and also a bit from your personal mentoring experience of what you see and the potential you see in engaging Kimberly-Clark colleagues on the ground.
Of course. So the accelerator is, hands down of the coalition, and having been involved for quite some time, I've worked with men. It is an amazing experience for us. I think we get as much out and the year-long mentorship as we were able to give to the mentees, relationship building. But I think it's been tremendous value add to us at Kimberly-Clark as part of the mentorship process, from just the of skills that we're able to offer. So as a multinational, we have obviously tremendous global reach and work streams and with these accelerators. So many of the folks that we work with, business plan advice or revenue generation models or input, HR or supply chain, research, marketing. How do I reach my consumer in a different way? And to us, or to bring those resources to the table and have those conversations to help really build a new way. We we're working with an entrepreneur right now, entire marketing plan and helping them to reach their consumer in a much more affects everyday business. That's what we do as a company. But putting it to work for the entrepreneurs in a very rewarding one, because it is really an enabler and an add capacity and add capability to these businesses. And so I'm exceptionally excited about expansion to Latin America, one of Kimberly-Clark's largest markets. The people of Kimberly-Clark America have energy and passion and purpose and talk when it comes to Kimberly-Clark's objective to positively impact the 2030. That's something that we take very seriously. The purpose as to everyone's hearts, and the people in Latin America bring huge energy objective for us, a reality. So I can't wait to get them engaged. They can't wait to get engaged. Vast amount of expertise that we have across the region is it runs very deep. And sanitation, we have activated actually with Water for People, is one of our core partners in the region, initiatives through our bath tissue brands. And so that's been, a initiative of ours for many years. And we are excited to bring, our apple to help the entrepreneurs in the region and to make this a success, because I in the field in many countries across Latin America, I haven't ever the need and the opportunity, and I can't wait to put the accelerator network into some of those issues. So couldn't be more excited to engage Kimberly-Clark and to help in the process.
Thanks, Jenny. Excellent. So we're going to turn now to some questions. We have some that have come in the chat, and if you are listening and have any others, please do feel free to send them. I think we have a bit more time and that we can take them. So there was one question on geographies, and I'll just quickly answer this. So we welcome applications from all geographies to the Tulip Board Coalition's Accelerator Program. Right now, we are through March 22nd, accepting applications very specifically from Guatemala, Honduras, and Peru for the 2023 cohort, which will be a bit of a special cohort and run from May through March of next year. At the same time, though, we are also currently selecting the 2024 cohort, both at a global level and specific to this project. So we really encourage you to apply either in English or in Spanish via the link on the QR code on the screen, or what's been shared in the chat. You can apply in your preferred language from any geography. And we will deal with that and sort of triage it on our end and make sure that we're getting you into the best timing and program possible. And then the second question, another one, was on language. So we can, and newly with this award, offer the program in both Spanish and English. So previously it was only offered in English, and we've now added the capacity to deliver the program in Spanish as well. So we bring it on. We're ready and excited. And then the next one, which Danielle, I was gonna lobby over to you, this question that we have from Jacob. So looking at kind of the model of the accelerator, and I know Danielle, you have quite a background also in sustainable agriculture. So Jacob's question was, how can this model integrate or be replicated into other areas? And I think something the Tulip Board Coalition, we look to inspiration often to renewable energy or agriculture, but particularly, Danielle, from your background, where do you think there are integration opportunities in the region to other initiatives around agriculture, education, and climate, for instance?
Sure, and thank you, Jacob, for your question. I think there are many examples and cases where sanitation can create explosive synergies in other sectors. And you're right, agriculture, climate, it's a good example. I want to tell you the example of Water for People working in across Latin America, creating partnerships with microfinance institution. Most of the times, some families, they are looking for a solution for their toilet or for their bathroom, but they cannot afford to build by themselves the whole step progressive solution. And that's why microfinance comes, and impact investors are also interested to finance microfinance. Why? Because most of the times the entry point is not necessarily home improvement or sanitation access. Sometimes it's also related to agriculture. Why? Why agriculture? We have experience working in Peru with the organic banana associations in the northern part of Peru. Why? Because in order to comply with the standards of organic or green production or sustainable production, you need to complete a lot of standards, including how you manage chemical and human residues. So a toilet is very much needed to comply with the standards. Second example, Nicaragua, coffee sector. We were working with coffee associations, cooperatives in Nicaragua, where the same reasons they need to comply with different standards, and there was an specific association working with coffee growers, coffee farmers, exporting, so creating a synergy with access to sanitation, not only at household level, but also with the facilities where they are packing and exporting. So there are many entry points. And we are working now in Honduras, where restaurants in the countryside, they don't have small street foods or restaurants. You can call actually kind of urban restaurants, but street foods and small shops offering food and in the countryside, they don't have a toilet. The moment that they realize having a toilet in a restaurant, it's a matter of economic development for the whole village as well. So the entry points and the synergies with sanitation and other sector is explosive, Jacob, and we have been working with those solutions as well.
Thanks, Daniel. Great. I think, unless there's any, if you have one more question, feel free to send in the chat. But oh, I see. Yeah. But what I'd like to do is just quickly do a quick tour de tab for just final reflections. So, hearing what we've discussed today, knowing many of you have been involved in the process of developing this award over the many months. And so would love to hear any of your final reflections before we thank our audience and close out for the day. Estrella, perhaps could I come to you first? We can't hear you yet.
Yes. As a final reflection, I mean, for the IDB Lab and the IDB group, having access to sanitation, we think it's a basic and essential human need that we need to help cover. And from our particular area of work and expertise, which is entrepreneurial, I think we're with the right partners to try to achieve this and try to contribute to the sanitation sector and try to create the conditions and help the entrepreneurs provide better solutions for sanitation. And always thinking about the rural and peri-urban and urban population who doesn't have access to basic need that we need to cover, and with many implication in health, in economic development and inclusion. So we're very happy to be part of this. We're very happy to help bring the Toilet Bowl Coalition into Latin America and the Caribbean, and we feel very, very privileged to work with you and with Water for People.
Thank you, Estrella. Daniel, I'll come to you next, and I'll also then direct you. There's another comment, I think, in the chat. Not necessarily that you need to address it right now, but maybe if you have a minute, you can do so after, about interest rates for microcredit. So, but final reflections for the moment.
Thank you. I know Cesarina, and I have an answer for that question. It's a very common question in this kind of forums, but I would like to make a reflection first. I remember I want to tell you a 2-minute story. I was traveling to Guatemala probably six years ago. It was in Quiché department. Is the plateau highlands in Guatemala, and we were visiting some families, households where for the low income people that cannot afford the last mile, the poorest of the poor, they cannot afford let's say a loan or savings to build a own solution. That's why we introduced this self-construction solution, because I personally don't agree with the Santa Claus model that gives away everything. The Santa Claus model is it's for kids, it's for Christmas, it's for December, it's not for development. That's why I think we need the systemic solutions. And there was one lady that asked me, sir, excuse me, I'm very happy with this toilet that we built with my family. It is very aspirational as the one you have in your house. My question is, are you going to print your brand name in our home, in our toilet right now? And I said, what do you mean, ma'am? She said, because in our village, we have many organizations coming, and once they support us with a toilet or something, you print your brand and your name very big in our houses. And I can beg you if you can avoid that practice, because you're stigmatizing our village. Because if you see from a different point of view, what you are doing is printing the name of "we are poor." All the communities, when you are giving or building or something, and you print your logo, your name, you're saying you are poor. You cannot afford your own solution. That's why I'm always begging other friends in the nonprofit sector, other friends in the development sector, can, is it possible that can you stop this practice of printing our brands and logos and logos in other things that we do in the countryside? Is that possible? Because we want markets, we want scalability, and that's restraining private sector coming into to solve the solution of decentralized basic service solutions. So that's the reflection that I want to change. I want a family building their own solution if they cannot afford a credit or a loan. But there are the middle poor and the emerging poor that working on probably cash crops, and they have some savings, and they have solutions that they can build their own solution. Of course, I'm not saying that the poorest of the poor can afford a loan. That self-construction is the solution that we are working with districts, but also at the same time avoiding toilets giving away from some donors or partners. So I'm doing both, reflecting and solving the question from Cesarina. Thanks for your question, Cesarina.
Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, I think it's something that is rather radical, actually, in terms of what I mean, in the Toilet Board Coalition, we address a piece, a very small piece of the larger picture here, but is that it's not the private sector swooping in to brand and solve and give. It's rather them looking at how do they help build the ecosystem and build the market and work hand in hand with the local entrepreneurs to help them build their own businesses. And it's, yeah. Jenny, over to you for a final thought.
Yeah, thank you. I guess my final reflection would more words of encouragement for the all ideas, all business plans, all approaches are innovative ideas, and that's exactly what we want. All ideas are good. There's no idea. Encourage any and all entrepreneurs to apply. It's is very worthwhile. It is something that makes and I would just again offer those words of encouragement. Dance, get involved. Put your ideas out there and partnering with you to take your solutions forward.
Awesome. Certainly the right note to end on, and couldn't have said it better myself. So thank you so much to each of you for joining us today, and Maria and Mafa that joined us earlier. Thank you to each of you that have joined from the audience. If you do have any other questions, please do reach out. We are standing by, happy to answer them, and the team is ready to engage, and we can't wait to receive your applications, as Jenny said. So please do apply, and apply soon. So apply before March 22nd to be considered for the 2023 special cohort. And I think that's it. Thank you. Bye, everyone.